All right, so I hacked out this section in the middle right here. I think I'm probably going to come off of this with a piece of steel and, basically a gusset that comes across and is rounded off right there. They kind of support the upper part of that plate and probably go straight up also to the other part of the frame. But for now, I'm going to leave it like that. And I think I'm going to leave this like this for now. And I may run like the throttle cables and that kind of stuff down through the center. So again, I want to hack it off until it's not needed. So just got it out of my way. Put a 2-inch piece of, I think it's 1/4-inch plate also. It's the same as what this is, but it's just regular steel. That's all tacked together. It's in a straight line. I have these pulleys on here and some vice grips just with an idler kind of coming up underneath it so it can kind of drive everything. That's a 5 on the back. And the belt is set up. There is a spline in there. I have it a little on the long side because I'd rather go long than short, because once you cut it, you're screwed. So my adjustment's all the way on the outside, and it's got a little bit of tension on it. It's not great, but it's enough to kind of spin it, and I wanted to see how it responded. Now my drill, I believe, runs at 1700 RPM if I read the code on the side of it right. So I figure the plugs are out of the motor, and I could spin the motor, and I can kind of watch what that is doing at 1700 RPM. So we're looking at that pulley in the back, and then you can see it driving the rear wheel. So I think it's too slow. So I am going to go back with, because I planned on having a pulley here that was probably twice that diameter, but just didn't work out that way. So I do have a 4. I'm going to switch it over to a 4. That's my 5 setup, and I'll try to find another belt that I can do the same thing with and see if we can drive it and kind of eyeball the speed and see if we like it any better. Alright, so that's the 2 that was on there, and I ended up actually using the same belt and dropped down 1 inch on the back pulley, went up 1 inch on the front pulley. And then I took my drill. I want to see what RPM my drill was running at, and it comes out that it runs at 1400 RPMs. You just stick this in the end of the chuck, the rubber tip on it. So that gives me an idea. I say 1400 RPM is probably where these motors are going to idle around, maybe 1000. So you figure I'm spinning those motors at 1400 RPM, probably 1300 RPM with a little bit of a load on it. Going across those, and I can kind of watch the back wheel. So I'd say that's probably a better match for it. And again, once I put it all together, I still can fine tune it if I have to. And I actually kind of like that in one aspect, that I still have to run the chain from the back wheel, so the distance that this is out of the way is better, so I can put an idler pulley here to get that chain down and tucked under that assembly. So that should work out pretty good. And I'm also toying with the idea, I want to see how much flex I get on here like I talked about before, but I'd like to see if I can maybe catch a bearing on the outside of that and give it some more support so it's not all just pulling on that crank, because the chain's pulling on the other side, forward, and this one's pulling this way, so it kind of wants to tweak that motor. So if I can help support that shaft, I may do that. little fire. Works for me.